This conference will now be recorded.
Expecting anybody else?
No, they're at the Waswa.
Yeah.
So I'll open it up.
Sure, Mayor Gailey, he's,
The engineer also.
Okay. well, I'm sure we'll be okay.
Okay. Okay, so we'll go ahead and open up the Lake Stevens Sewer District Board of Commissioners meeting. Today is Wednesday, September 25th, 2024. It's 4 o'clock. I'll go ahead and turn the time over to Ryan for the Utilities Committee meeting. I couldn't remember if we did the pledge or not.
It's
Let's do
up to
it.
you.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. So go ahead and call this utility committee meeting to order. So roll call, do we need motions to excuse or we just know who is not here?
I know who is here.
Okay, who is here? I am present. Councilmember Peter Sagan present. And we've got
Andrea Wright.
Kevin Koshi.
Okay, our commissioners, Koshi and Wright.
Just to clarify, I think Caitlin's taking the notes
Okay.
today. Is that?
It has sound, just not video,
Okay,
and we're trying.
Caitlin, can you confirm that you're taking notes today?
Sure, yes, I am.
Perfect.
Yes, Councilmember Peter Shagan, I am taking notes, and it would be great, just to not, since I can't see you, to get a list of everyone in the room.
Okay. So Councilmember Donahue is here. Councilmember Peter Sagan, Commissioners Koshi and Wright. Did you get all that?
I sure did, thank you. Is Rosalind or Jonathan there? Oh, Jonathan, I see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you need everybody or
Yeah.
people?
Yeah,
Actually-
I do list staff as well for each group.
Christy Schmidt, Planning Manager, City of Lake Stevens.
Kim Klinker, City Engineer.
And then Aaron Halverson, Public Works Director. Thanks, Caitlin.
Okay. Got that taken care of. So that moves us to item 2A, public forum. Non-action items, if there are any comments, please keep them limited to 3 minutes. So with that, I will open it up. Are there any public comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on. Brings 2B, project review, 2B sub A, district's development review.
Okay, and I believe that the development sheet is in the packet. And be more than happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions?
Is there a specific page or just the entire?
On the back.
It usually is.
Back of the agenda.
It's the back of the agenda.
Yeah.
First page.
Yeah.
Here we go.
This is smaller.
It is. Well, I know you're busy downtown.
Yeah.
Your lift station.
So do you have, I was at a groundbreaking for Village Concepts yesterday. Is that one of these, or I'm not seeing an address?
No, it's not a developer extension agreement, which is what all of those are. Most of the infrastructure was put in place with the Soper Hill commercial.
So
they're
that's who
just,
the contract holder is?
Yep.
Okay. All right, perfect.
Are you pretty much running on time with your projects for this fall?
no.
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 Well, that's kind of to be expected.
Yeah.
We kind of heard the situation with the 20th Street yesterday, so.
Yes.
Don't need to repeat all that.
Yes.
So, unfortunate situation, but it is what it is, right?
Should we move on?
Yeah, and if there's no other questions, nothing specific we want to cover, yes, let's move on to item 2C, information sharing. So, assuming take the lead on that one.
And I think in the packet is the district's mid-year financials. We hadn't prepared a big presentation for that, but if you'd like specific questions or to see the presentation that staff gave to the board, we recommend looking back at our last meeting, the video for our last meeting, which did work. It did work. But, or if you have any specific questions on the budget, feel free to reach out to Mariah or I and we'll get it answered.
I know I've asked you this before, Jonathan, but I just been looking at this. Is there a specific line item? And I think you had mentioned it was somewhere. And I apologize if I'm mistaken on my recollection, but somewhere around $50,000 or $75,000 a year that you allocate for covers lids.
It's usually about 10. I think this year it was about 15.
Okay, but I'm certainly off on the numbers.
Yeah, and most of that budget went to providing or lids and frames for some of the city's overlays. So
Okay.
we are replacing a lot of the broken lids and frames along with the city's projects. So.
Okay, so notwithstanding that, is there a program to kind of raise lids periodically throughout the city on existing asphalts? And I just,
Yeah.
Lundin Parkway is one that I noticed that people tend to avoid the manholes because a lot of them are depressed.
Yeah, we've got a pretty big list throughout the city, and we tried to do the ones that we can fix without a whole lot of like excavation, without the jackhammers and stuff. So it's kind of, we'll go there with the interior manhole inserts at the ring and try to raise them up there.
Okay.
But we keep a list in our asset management program for all the manholes that we notice when we're out doing other inspections. So we do have a pretty good list of the ones that need to be done. And we're right now doing a cost benefit analysis at getting our own equipment so we can do more of those. And we're seeing with construction costs escalation to pay a contractor, it's almost $2,000 a manhole.
Is that what you, so you contract that out?
Yeah.
So we don't have overlays planned
nice
for
to do
Lundin
it
Parkway, though, do we?
Not in-
Anytime in the next 2 or 3, 4 years?
So it sounds like your program is if it's something you can do without a fair amount of work, you do it.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you rely on basically pavement preservation to come through and remove it, and you provide the iron for us to raise it.
Or we contract out we'll get a list of 5 or 10, however many
Okay.
we can do within that budget amount and then try to get that done. But it's usually, 5 or 10. So, but yeah.
So how does that work when the manhole gets depressed to a point where the ring or the asphalt ring that you provided for that gets to a point where it's cracking and damaging the roadway? How does that, I mean, at what point in time do you kind of say, we gotta fix this?
Whenever it could damage a vehicle or when we do see vehicles avoiding them, that's usually the biggest trigger.
Okay.
So,
Spend some time out at Lundin Parkway, would you? Because there's people that do this.
They do.
Yeah, I was curious if you normally get right away permits, I guess, to complete that work, but it sounds like you
Our
typically.
contractor would, yeah.
Contract with a contractor.
Yep.
When's the last time that you guys had a contract for that?
It was about 2 years ago, down on 17th.
Well, let us, as we talked yesterday,
Mhm.
let us know if you need help with equipment. I think that we can certainly have an agreement between the two agencies to share. So if you're buying equipment that you're not going to use that often, we probably have it.
Yep.
So let us know.
Okay.
I will say though, yeah, it was a good opportunity, specifically on 20th Street Northeast up and over the hill at Ashley Point. There were some pretty severely sunken manholes. And so, yeah, we were able to coordinate and you guys provided the new iron, and so those are all.
That's good.
And that was just paid yesterday, so the contractor is gonna come back and adjust everything to grade and seal, so.
So
It would be nice to get some of those
we
fixed.
spend $1,000 roughly on this current contract to raise.
I would have
one
to
of
double
those
raise check.
It's around that.
Yeah, economies of scale, a lot different when you're.
Well, they're,
Yeah.
yeah, they're out there working all day,
Yeah.
raising all of the iron, so, yeah. Okay.
Good, appreciate your attention to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was sub-item A there. B, district's capital improvement plan project updates for PCI.
So yeah, in the packet, what I'll be speaking off of is the Schedule 5 in our capital improvement plan. So I was,
Last 3 pages.
sorry. So I was just gonna go through each of the projects that are listed on this and discuss the status of each one of those. So the gravity suit system repair and replacement, we're preparing request for bids to slip line approximately 8.5 miles of pipe. So that will be probably a little bit more than the 3.75. That's just a staff guess. The Main Street and 18th Street improvements currently under construction. And I'm sure as you guys have noticed, that project stalled a little bit. Hoping we get some good info or good answers from Fish and Wildlife to get that project going. But I did ask our contractors not to sit around and wait for that answer, to start seriously looking at some alternatives to cutting that culvert. So we're anxious to get that project back underway. The 24th SR9 crossing, WashDOT hasn't been the most forthcoming with getting us the project closeout items, but it is physically complete and we're waiting on as-built and their notice of completion. So we know that we aren't getting any more bills. The 2C upgrade, 2C generator, 2C design and construction management. That project has been awarded to ICI as well, and the lift station crew is waiting for the pipe crew to get out of the way so they can mobilize in. That project's got a pretty sophisticated shoring approach where we're having to freeze the ground to be able to put in the new wet well. And that will take a couple of months for the ground to freeze hard enough to where they can start digging through it. Again, the 2C force main, as soon as ICI gets done with the gravity portion on 20th Street Northeast, 125th and 18th, and a little bit on Main Street, they're planning on starting on the force main through North Lake Shore. So that'll probably, my best estimate will probably be spring of 25. The 5C decommissioning is complete. We're just waiting on the notice of completion from Department of Revenue to get it off the books. 4C rehab is currently in design. The 6C rehabilitation is currently in design. Those will be bid probably in one request for bids. The lift station 11 rehab is currently in design. Mixed liquor alkalinity system improvements are currently in design. We're advertising that for bid next week. BBC office upgrades currently under construction. Membrane, that's kind of an ongoing, we're collecting funds until we actually, or we're holding back funds until the membranes actually have to be replaced. We've outlived their expected life expectancy due to good maintenance, but eventually they will have to be replaced. The 1C rehab is currently in design. And then we've got kind of the maintenance and operations, not part of our current capital improvement plan, but still capital costs. the SR 9204 realignment. That project's, of course, physically complete. We're waiting on the notice of completion and record drawings from WashDOT on that one. Vehicle replacements, we were able to replace one vehicle and expand our fleet by one side by side. Bypass pump, we purchased that. Wastewater treatment plant, gas and digester improvement project. That was combined with the alkalinity system in our bid advertisement. So that'll be part of the project that goes out to bid next week. Diesel fuel software for our fuel island, we did finish that upgrade. UV system upgrade, parts were delivered, we're just waiting on the vendor to come and do the work. Lift station 15 air conditioner replacement, waiting parts on that. Boiler replacement, we received a new quote and we'll be presenting that to the board tomorrow. And the new ammonia and the new ammonia probe has been purchased. We're just awaiting its delivery. Any questions, comments, concerns?
The membrane replacement, that's still a couple of years away though, isn't it? Isn't that like $3.5 million or something?
Yeah, it'll be probably with the cost escalation, it would probably be 4.5. But it would be an upgrade to the technology as well. There's a lot more surface area in the new membrane cassettes. So we get a little improved treatment efficiency out of that and maybe a little bit of extra capacity. But it wouldn't be so we're hoping that either we can replace one train at a time and kind of filter in new cassettes, keep old cassettes back further in the process, rather than having to do them all at once. But we just want to make sure that there's money available to where we could do that as soon as one fails.
So this is the cost for one? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's kind of the annual set aside.
It's the annual set aside?
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. I think I heard that, I just.
Yeah.
Do you think we'd go for a re-rating?
I don't know if it would
Be enough?
well, it would be enough probably for BOD re-rating, but hydraulic capacity, it's not gonna give us that much more.
What's the expected life on the new membrane?
The new membranes, it depends on maintenance, but I think 10 to 15 years is kind of the expected life.
So the original membranes are at that 17-year
Well,
stage?
they originally had about a 5 to 7 year life expectancy, and we've been able to keep them going for 11, and they're still in pretty good shape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm going to touch on downtown a little bit, but sets the downtown sewer improvements update.
Again, we're kind of hoping for good news from Fish and Wildlife. But yeah, again, our contractor, we have given them some homework to depend, regardless of what Fish and Wildlife's answer is, that we've got a plan to get the project going, or it's kind of a poop or get off the pot moment where either if we got to come up with a plan to keep that section of the project going, or we need to break down, get off 20th Northeast, start work on 125th, and then come back and circle back to that section.
The city's capital project update.
Sure. I'll give it a go, and then Kim can correct me, because, or do you want to take the lead on the capital update on what's happening right now in this construction?
I can give a quick update on what's currently under construction. So as I mentioned, we have our annual pavement preservation project. So the last road that we'll be paving is 4th Street behind Target. That's getting ground today and hopefully paved back later this week. 20th Street Northeast was already paved. Vernon Road, we had two sections from the bridge to the roundabout that's been repaved. And then Vernon Road behind the old Everett Clinic, that was repaved. And then I think we did a summer of, where one of the sewer district's projects came in the residential area. I think it was like 22nd Place or something.
Yeah.
We just finished getting a complete overlay on that road, so that looks a lot nicer for those residents. So that's our annual overlay project, and that's also supported by the transportation benefit program, the sales tax that the voters passed recently. Another project that's currently under construction is Bayview Trail Phase 0. So it starts down at 20th Street Southeast and goes up to 12th Street, just at the pedestrian bridge, I think this week. So that one should be wrapping up by November. And then another one that Eric is working on is 91st Street, near the Lake Stevens Middle School. That one's been busy along that corridor. The contractor still has until I think early November to finish that work, but they've tried to get the phase between 8th and 4th completed as much as we could prior to school starting, and they're working their way north to Marketplace. Additionally, we just completed over the last 2 or 3 weeks annual citywide long line striping program in thermoplastic. So a lot of our signalized intersections and roundabouts have fresh crosswalk markings, and like 20th Street Southeast has new long line paint striping. So we tried to hit the priority areas that had been pretty worn out over the last couple of years. And then we have a couple other projects that are getting close to permitting. I guess it's important to note, Main Street Improvements Project, that's out to bid right now. That's to continue the shared use path that's kind of the frontage along the mill building. And we've been trying to coordinate with the sewer district's projects because they overlap. So that's out to bid. There's federal funding, so it just takes a little longer coordinating with WashDOT and meeting all the federal requirements. But we're hoping to get a contractor on board and hopefully get construction kicked off early 2025 and get that pulled together before all the summer activities begin. And hopefully that aligns with your guys' progress as well. And then we have another project at Frontier Heights Park that is pretty much at final design. We're just trying to get through permitting, but I expect that to be under construction early next year in 25. And then 131st sewer and infrastructure improvements projects we've been coordinating with. I think we're at about 90% design. We need to work out some final utility coordination items with PUD. We have power poles along one side of the road where we'll be constructing a shared use path. And then we have a draft DEA that our city attorney has provided back to you guys, and probably need to continue coordinating. I saw that in your capital projects list that was a project that's identified for 2025, and there's some funding for that. I guess I was curious, is that money that you anticipate having budgeted in 2025 to fund that project?
Yeah, I believe we should be okay, but our connection fees have been less than what we had budgeted. So that's where all of our majority of our capital funds come from. So it'll be a discussion we'll have to have with the commissioners, but yeah.
So as we work through the DEA, I think we'd like to work through that problem too. Just makes practical sense. So hopefully the next couple of months, we can find a solution to that one.
Yep, and then we have some additional transportation benefit program sidewalks identified along 117th. Hopefully we'll, off of 20th. Yep. That will be getting design advancing and getting constructed in 25 or 26. And then the next priority sidewalk project I think from that program will be Soper Hill sidewalks along one side of Soper Hill. So yeah, I think we've throughout the design process, we've been intentional about trying to send them to Jonathan's team to coordinate through like 30, 60, 90 and get any comments that the sewer district might have. And I think at that time we were able to coordinate and know when the utility lids, the manhole lids should be replaced. So we've added that into the contract requirements before we get to bidding. And then, yeah, we'll have another pavement preservation project next year. So we can, once we have those roads identified, we can reach out and coordinate with that. Main Street Roundabout project, I didn't mention that one yet. That's down at 20th and Main. We're at 30% design right now. And we'll be coordinating with, I think we've already reached out to do some initial utility coordination, but that one has federal funds as well. So a little bit more federal environmental permitting requirements. We're hoping to get that one started late 25, but it just depends on how quickly we can get that turned around. That's all that quickly comes to mind. Is there anyone?
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot.
That's a
You
lot.
guys have been really busy this year. The North Cove one, the low flow road dock, that was an
Oh.
add-in. That also was
Yeah.
one that wasn't even on your
Planning
radar.
season.
They got thrown in.
Those
So
are added fun.
it's in progress right now.
And we only have 4 engineers on staff.
Yeah,
So
they've been very busy.
they're running interference on all these things, running these projects, and they're running interference on all the view works requests that come in for striping, crosswalks, or, new.
Stop signs.
New stop signs,
yes,
or new
speed
no
bumps.
parking, or new ramps. Andrea you had one years ago, ramps, remember? We went
I
through it.
remember, it's great, I love it every day.
Exactly. So the 4 engineers are quite busy, but,
Yeah, we just, our fourth engineer just started 2.5 weeks ago, so it's a little getting them on board and plugged in.
Yeah.
But I will mention, we do have a capital projects website page through Lake Stevens, and so we're trying to make the map more interactive, but we do have individual project sites for each of the active capital projects where we're trying to post updates, and you can subscribe to get those updates emailed as they're available, and we're trying to just do better about messaging and keeping everyone informed.
Is the new city hall a capital project?
It actually is a capital project. Russ, our planning director, Russ Wright, is running that project, and that's why it doesn't come to Kim's mind.
That's all right.
It's out of sight, out of mind, but I think that they're getting close to awarding a contract to an architect.
They are.
Now. They are, and so, we'll be through design this winter, and I think construction is planned for this summer.
Correct. Yeah, next summer.
I see the names coming off the businesses,
Yeah.
so they're moving
Thank
out,
you.
moving different areas.
Some are moving out, some are moving back in. So that complex on the east side generally is going to remain commercial. So we're just changing tenants out. And to be fair, I think that we've reevaluated sort of the service level for that commercial complex. And with that comes some changes in lease rates and things like that. And their backlog on maintenance is quite long, to be fair. So.
I think I also probably overlooked our surface water projects. I know Shannon's on the call, but the
Yeah.
36th Street Bridge, we just got a public works loan for. That's the one that's restricted to only one-way traffic that we intend to get design advanced on next year and try to have fund.
26.
Yeah, and then the weir.
Yeah, we're still working on the weir outlet. It goes on, but the city halls, that's a good question. I think we hope to be in there in end of 25.
Year and a half.
Late 20 September or so.
Fingers crossed, on
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And then we're gonna reinflate the wheels under City Hall.
Yeah.
So there is a shift. There's the new South Lake Business Park, obviously, which is just starting construction behind the Tom Thumb area. So some of the businesses that are currently located in the center where the new City Hall will be, they'll be shifting over to there once they're complete.
Yeah.
So they'll maintain their businesses within the area.
North Sound moved up, what, Payless Shoes or whatever,
Yes.
that one corner.
Now I know why you brought me today.
Don't get the
I should have looked at the agenda.
Always a reason.
I was gonna say, I heard 131st in there, so I don't know if we need to dive back into that or if we're good on
I don't
sub.
think so. I think the key is getting the developer extension agreement in a place that we both can sign it and advance the project.
And it's currently with our legal counsel, so.
Moving on to F, city's comp plan update. No,
Sure, I'm filling in for Russ today,
Okay.
so our comprehensive plan update, we take in our comprehensive plan, we get all the capital projects, so that keeps us busy. But as you may be aware, as an agency, we issued our draft document back in July. So since July 26, you've probably seen the outreach to participate and comment on it. And within your packet, you'll have this came out a little bit earlier, but there is Memorandum, this is the Planning Commission staff report prepared by our senior planner, David Levitan. He is a great planner. He's our long-range planner. He's been spearheading our comprehensive plan update primarily since we ended our contract with our subconsultant. So we've been doing everything in-house and we've been processing efficiently. So within the staff report, I won't go through all the public meetings that we've had and all the public outreach, but it did work. We did receive quite a few public comments along with agency comments. So right now we are in the process of preparing our submittal packet back to the Department of Commerce and our staff report and all our responses during our 60-day comment period. We present that and it goes to the Planning Commission's first public hearing on October 2nd. So feel free to attend. You can either attend via Zoom or in person. And then after that, it goes to City Council on October 22nd. We hope to adopt it by the end of October, but depending on the comments and what comes after those public hearings, it may overflow into November. But what you will see in there is that we've done the full periodic update. So you'll see affordable housing incorporated in there, all the legislative updates along with climate change and gosh, let me see. That's pretty much about it. We have a whole laundry list for each of the elements. And then next year, when you see the comp plan come back, our focus will be the parks and recreation element for that year. With that, if you have any comments or anything, we're still under, you can provide comments, so feel free to. And I encourage you to check out our QR code that we have. And we also have a story map online, which was done by Jill Needham, one of our assistant planners, and she did a fabulous job with her technology update. I think it took the city to a whole new level for public outreach. And you will see over 60 signs posted throughout the city. We did that a couple weeks ago as a group effort, just to notify people for all the rezones throughout the city.
We need to have this adopted by the end of the year.
We do. Our official deadline is the end of 2025.
End of 25?
Oh, excuse me, 2024.
Okay.
Sorry. Yes.
And the only reason why I asked this, it was brought up last night at our council meeting, the school board or the school district is, or whoever is having the bond information night on the same night as your.
Correct.
Is there
That's
any-
what Rob said. Yes.
Is there any maybe movement to maybe move the planning commission?
That's smart.
Well, what we had talked about, and I can also relay this back today, we were discussing today, is that we open, since we've already advertised for the public hearing on the 2nd, is to continue it to the 18th.
Okay, yeah.
And that was our solution for that, if that works. I think that
so
would be
would
logical.
As long as we're meeting deadlines, we've got December, yeah.
We do. And then, so the idea is that we would open it on the 22nd, I think, for city council, and then continue it to the next meeting if necessary.
Okay.
That would be our thought, does that sound about right with the?
Yeah, our
School
delay is
district
city council, there's a lot of comments.
Yeah, I was gonna say, would 4 days give you guys enough time to synthesize everything, the ton of feedback?
It does, it depends. So since we have advertised for the 22nd, we do have to open it, and then we can continue it to whichever date's determined to be appropriate.
Was this the dock that had
I-
the Vernon
Thank you
Road
for bringing that up, because I would expect that
lake.
too.
buried in it? Page
Thank you.
150 something.
Okay.
There was an extensive document. Deep in the document, there was some reference, I believe, to the sewer pipe that is goes along the lake shore along Vernon Road. And it struck me as odd that we monitor that pipe because of the sensitive nature it is. There's actually a lot of extra work that goes into making sure that it's in good shape and above and beyond what we might do in something in the street. So it struck me as odd that was referenced and called out specifically, but it's not our comp plan. It seemed very disjointed. So maybe if we haven't provided feedback, whatever we need to do to reconcile that, because
Just that singular pipeline, not the others that are in the line.
Do you want to provide text?
I cued it on that one just because it geographically is close to where I used to live, right? So, and I can't quote chapter and verse from it, but it was it just wasn't part of our comp plan. It was referenced there as
Sure.
like needing to be replaced, and it was like, where did that come from? And just something we should clean up, I think. Yeah. Or maybe I have a misunderstanding on interpreting it too. Anyway, that was a catch, and we should, whatever we can do on our side.
Okay, we'll coordinate and make sure it gets
Cool.
corrected.
Just on a side note, David, I've never met him, but I've never had a planner call me back the next day. And I called and left him a message because I had some questions about some signs near me, and I thought he was excellent. I thought the QR code was very helpful. I don't know if David switched it, but I felt like on the map was excellent. But you know how like there were references like RA12 or something, it means nothing to like a citizen.
Sure, what is it?
You know, and so I did mention to him it'd be helpful to understand what those codes,
Yes.
there was
Yeah,
no
the
like,
context.
but anyway, so I thought that was great, because it really does make it accessible for just someone walking the community and everything. So, I'm sure he's very busy being a senior planner, but I've never had someone call me back the next day.
Good, I appreciate that, because that is one of our internal level of service expectations, is to call people back within 24 hours. So thank you.
I mean, since it came out, I should have to say, sitting in those planning commission meetings, watching him field the questions, like you said, it's a very extensive document, and he's spearheading it, so he should know it, but just watching him rattle stuff off out of that document.
It's massive.
He definitely has a command of it. So,
He does.
yeah.
Glad to have it.
Yeah, good work. Anything else on the comp plan? Okay, brings us to item 2, sub G, city's permit numbers.
Oh, well, the permit numbers. Well, by golly, you have a sheet in front of you. It's just ran off from our reporting system. This one is just from July until the end of September. So you'll just see here the tallies on the top. I'll just kind of run through them pretty much, and I'll point out some of the highlights. Building permits, we've had 144. Land use permits, we are up to 56. Currently, when I ran them the other day, for our group of 4 planners, we have 96 projects. So you do the math, subtract Dave out, we're really busy. We're hoping to have some more staff to help us with that so we can maintain our level of service timeframes by the state. Then in addition, we have code enforcement. We have 50. It's been a very busy summer, I tell you, as far as people doing activities that they perhaps shouldn't be doing within the city. And we have 1 person, and our code enforcement person, Cameron, is excellent. If you've ever had contact with him, this is why we're able to maintain a great level.
I hope not to have contact.
Yeah. Well, sometimes people call and he'll follow up with the neighbor, so if you have that context, then you're lucky. Then we have special event permits. We've had 10. Summer season and fall is the busiest time for our special events here at the city. And then obviously lots of pet licenses, and then we have right-of-way use permits, which is under the PWD, and some sign permits. That's pretty much about it. If you want some of the details, we do have 2 inspectors, and you can see down below we have inspections scheduled. They do run a high volume of inspections. We also do have a third-party consultant we have to call in periodically to help fill in staffing. So we run a lean, busy crew, and we work well together. Any questions on this?
So the building permits are the applications, not once you bid, right?
Correct.
What I think is interesting, if you don't mind, Kristen, is that the permits are down, but our review comments are up. And our inspection comments are up. So there's something there happening where they're having maybe more time to review them more thoroughly and provide more rigorous responses and hopefully better plans are leaving the permit center. Probably.
That could be it. That would be the hope.
Yeah.
Versus the opposite, a lack or perhaps incomplete submittals.
Yeah.
It can go both ways or a combination of both.
I think it's good.
Actually, towards the end of the year, we'll be doing a more in-depth analysis, Carol and I, just to identify any type of deficiencies or improvement processes that we can make. Just since her and I, we've been in our position just a couple years, and so we're working on honing in, and we're working with Kim and Aaron and their department just to make for a lean, clean review process. So we can probably address that come December or January.
And inspections are up too. So it's-
They
people
are.
are calling for inspections, so whatever you guys are doing, you're doing a better review, you're identifying the inspections better, and they're happening. That's what the metrics are seeming.
Or they're having to re-inspect.
Or they're
Yeah,
having,
yeah.
or they're having to
Either,
re-inspect,
exactly.
which means they're catching more things, which means in the end,
That's not good.
Yeah.
we have roadways that are properly constructed when we accept them.
Yeah, that's the idea.
But that's public works.
That's true, that's the goal. His inspections are.
Oh, they know.
They are combined. And then we do the permitting also for the capital projects too, so.
So what's
Group
the
effort.
breakout on the application of residential versus commercial?
That I don't know as far as in the building permits goes. I can find that out though, let you know. Just because interest rates for commercial obviously been high, they recently dropped, but it doesn't preclude people from tenant improvements, which we've had quite a few at the city. So I can run the number and let you know.
I mean, you folks
It's a
said
good
the
question.
single family's kind of heading downwards, so.
I think there's a few larger developments that I think we're wrapping up. We've got Bacheldorf, Fagerly, Heisey, they just wrapped up. So the residential, I think, will come close to hitting our 130 connection fee budget. But again, it's tough to predict. Yeah.
Sales.
Heisey, they were very quick on trying to get those model homes up so they could start selling lots.
Yeah.
They don't seem to be in as big a hurry for Bacheldorf or Fairleigh. So.
I think you'll see Fagerly coming in real soon because they just applied for their final today. So
Good.
they'll be coming in.
Yeah.
And then there's a new project next to Heisey.
Yeah,
Kind of
Campbell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got an annex, so their annexation's in with the BRB now, so.
Great.
Yeah.
That's good.
Stuff. Anything else on the permit numbers? That moves us to 2D, action items. Approval of the May 22nd, 2024 meeting minutes. There's a copy at the back of the packet, so everyone had a chance to review that.
I make a motion to approve the May 22nd, 2024 meeting minutes.
And a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, meeting minutes is approved. Takes us to 2E, next meeting. I think it's thought about it. 8. Anyone have a preference? Anyone?
It's usually the last Wednesday, right? What's that?
23rd of October. But actually, if you want the last Wednesday, it'd be the 30th of October.
And, in the, meeting minutes, it says monthly meetings or agreed upon will be the fourth Wednesday of each month.
23rd it is.
She's in.
Go ahead. Caitlin, did you catch that? 23rd of October for the next meeting?
Got it. Thank you so much. Who was my second on the minute approval?
Gary?
Gary.
Okay, thank you so much.
You guys don't meet.
All right, we got that scheduled. That takes us to 2F, adjournment.
You get a motion to adjourn.
Second? Second. All right, motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. With that, the utility committee meeting is adjourned.
Great,
Back to
we're
you.
back to the Nick Stevens, your district board of commissioners meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn that as well.
I second it, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's nice to meet you.